from a respected journalist. But anyway, so let's get back into the other match, which is tomorrow. And I will look at the groups as a whole with you shortly and try and eke out some thoughts and predictions. But Zverev is going to be playing Ben Shelton in the second match. I think this is very interesting. I'm very intrigued about Ben Shelton in so many ways, and I'm looking forward to 2026. He's one guy in particular that I probably earmark as being someone who could get closer to Carlos and Yannick next year in terms of his age, in terms of his progression. Yes, he has been beaten by Yannick in straight sets in a few matches recently. Wimbledon this year comes to mind, and I think there was also a match indoors not long ago, maybe in Vienna. But I have big thoughts. Now, whether this tournament might just come too early for Ben, Steve, because he got that injury, didn't he, in New York, and he's still easing himself back into the tour.
Yeah, first couple of tournaments, he didn't look like himself. He had a loss to Goffin in one of them, and then he got better. In the last tournament, he lost in Paris, I guess, to Yannick in straight. It was the usual kind of script, you might say, because he hasn't found a way to impose himself as much as he'd like in that rivalry after winning their first clash. And he's lost a lot of tiebreaks, I believe 6 since then, in the losses, in that string of losses to Sinner. So, but he looked more like the old Ben, the Ben that we'd seen over the summer, the Ben who suffered the terrible injury at the Open. Hasn't beaten Zverev, but, I still would give him about a 45 to 47% chance here. I like Zverev to win, but would not be shocked if Ben had a great day and got right out of the blocks and squeezed out a 7-5 or 7-6 in the third win over Sasha.
Zverev has had a very unusual, maybe underwhelming year post-Australia.
Yes. Yeah, he has. I mean, look, he was very deflated, John. Let's face it, we've rarely heard a player that openly express his dismay over another final round loss, his third in a major final. He'd lost the 2020 Open to Thiem. He'd lost to Carlos in the 24 French. Now here, this one, he thought maybe he could finally come through in Sinner, beat him in straight. The other two were 5-setters at least, and this one was very deflating. And I do think it took him a while to get. I think that had a lot to do with what unfolded this year. Better recently, although he got hurt in Paris, so he only got a game off of Yannick there because he'd had escaped against Medvedev, saving 2 match points the day before. But and he had a good final in Vienna with Yannick, where Zverev went right down to the wire, 7-5 in the third. So he's playing better. He's looking better. I'm sure he's thrilled not to be in Fritz's group. Fritz is such a nightmare for him, as you already alluded to. So but I don't know quite. This first match may be pivotal for him, John, right? Because if he could get off to a good start and beat Ben, it always helps to get that first one under your belt and know that you probably can make it to the semis winning one of your next 2. No guarantees, but you're kind of in the driver's seat if you can, particularly if you can win that first one in straight. So there's a lot riding on it for both of them. I don't know what Ben is expecting of himself. This is a new experience for him.
Free hit, no, for Ben?
A what?
A free hit. It's like
right.
Yeah,
absolutely. So I'm looking forward to watching that one. I guess in the end, if I'm going to predict, I'd say Zverev in 3.
Yep, I think I would go with that too. It's going to be a close one, I think. But yeah, again, this might just be not quite necessarily a year too early for Ben, but I think he might be better prepared for this tournament this time next year, if he makes it, of course. And also in terms of his health, I think getting through a few rounds at some 250s and 500s, just about doable at the moment. But, this is obviously playing the elite players. And I think if Lorenzo Musetti was in this group, perhaps I might be favoring Ben to get at least a win. But it's going to be tough for Ben. He could easily have 3 narrow losses, for example. And that would still be okay, I think, just because of where Ben's at. He just needs to get some matches under his way and get himself ready for Australia, where I think a deep run will be the minimum, as in he'll be looking at quarterfinals, semifinals. Anything less than that will be a huge disappointment, because that's how how high the bar is for me in terms of Ben and his career next year, especially.
Just a quick comment off that. I agree, and particularly to add to your point that he got to the semis this year. Yeah. So he wants to be able to replicate that. In his mind, anything less than being back in the semis would be, I think, disappointing.
Definitely. Okay, but just one more thing on Zverev as well in his year. Yeah, of course, that win in Australia. I actually saw him up close in Rio. I was at that tournament, And yeah, Zverev was sort of, it's a bit weird watching him in practice there because I wasn't even sure if he really wanted to be there necessarily. And his results tended to look like that. He didn't recover in time in terms of his tennis, at least in terms of Indian Wells and Miami, where he had some underwhelming results. And yes, I think he won one tournament. I think it was in Munich, wasn't it, on the clay? But going down in 4 sets to Novak, I mean, he wins the first set and then sort of fades away now. A lot of that, of course, is down to Novak. But yeah, a very unusual year. And of course, he was there or thereabouts with him and Carlos in 2 and 3 in the world, wasn't he, at the beginning of the year? And yet now, I don't know if you know this, Steve, the gap between Zverev and Carlos as of last week was bigger in terms of points than Zverev and the world number 1,000.
That's astounding. That is astounding.
5,000 points, more or less, is the difference between Zverev and number 2, and 5,000 points was the difference between him and the world number 1,000.
Yeah, he just doesn't win enough tournaments. He wins a lot of matches, but he needs to win more titles, not just slams. He needs more elsewhere too. And he didn't do himself justice this year. Let's face it. I frankly think he's going to have a better 2026. I'm pretty convinced of that.
The other match in this group, and I think it's interesting, it's going to be a replay of the first match, that is. It's going to be a replay of the Paris Masters final. I always feel tempted to call it Paris-Bercy, even though it's no longer in that part of Paris anymore. Yeah. But it's going to be Sinner against Felix, what you saw from a respected journalist. But anyway, so let's get back into the other match, which is tomorrow. And I will look at the groups as a whole with you shortly and try and eke out some thoughts and predictions. But Zverev is going to be playing Ben Shelton in the second match. I think this is very interesting. I'm very intrigued about Ben Shelton in so many ways, and I'm looking forward to 2026. He's one guy in particular that I probably earmark as being someone who could get closer to Carlos and Yannick next year in terms of his age, in terms of his progression. Yes, he has been beaten by Yannick in straight sets in a few matches recently. Wimbledon this year comes to mind, and I think there was also a match indoors not long ago, maybe in Vienna. But I have big thoughts. Now, whether this tournament might just come too early for Ben, Steve, because he got that injury, didn't he, in New York, and he's still easing himself back into the tour.
Yeah, first couple of tournaments, he didn't look like himself. He had a loss to Goffin in one of them, and then he got better. In the last tournament, he lost in Paris, I guess, to Yannick in straight. It was the usual kind of script, you might say, because he hasn't found a way to impose himself as much as he'd like in that rivalry after winning their first clash. And he's lost a lot of tiebreaks, I believe 6 since then, in the losses, in that string of losses to Sinner. So, but he looked more like the old Ben, the Ben that we'd seen over the summer, the Ben who suffered the terrible injury at the Open. Hasn't beaten Zverev, but, I still would give him about a 45 to 47% chance here. I like Zverev to win, but would not be shocked if Ben had a great day and got right out of the blocks and squeezed out a 7-5 or 7-6 in the third win over Sasha.
Zverev has had a very unusual, maybe underwhelming year post-Australia.
Yes. Yeah, he has. I mean, look, he was very deflated, John. Let's face it, we've rarely heard a player that openly express his dismay over another final round loss, his third in a major final. He'd lost the 2020 Open to Team. He'd lost to Carlos in the 24 French. Now here, this one, he thought maybe he could finally come through in Sinner, beat him in straight. The other two were 5-setters at least, and this one was very deflating. And I do think it took him a while to get. I think that had a lot to do with what unfolded this year. Better recently, although he got hurt in Paris, so he only got a game off of Yannick there because he'd had escaped against Medvedev, saving 2 match points the day before. But and he had a good final in Vienna with Yannick, where Zverev went right down to the wire, 7-5 in the third. So he's playing better. He's looking better. I'm sure he's thrilled not to be in Fritz's group. Fritz is such a nightmare for him, as you already alluded to. So but I don't know quite. This first match may be pivotal for him, John, right? Because if he could get off to a good start and beat Ben, it always helps to get that first one under your belt and know that you probably can make it to the semis winning one of your next 2. No guarantees, but you're kind of in the driver's seat if you can, particularly if you can win that first one in straight. So there's a lot riding on it for both of them. I don't know what Ben is expecting of himself. This is a new experience for him.
Free hit, no, for Ben?
A what?
A free hit. It's like
yes, right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to watching that one. I guess in the end, if I'm going to predict, I'd say Zverev in three.
Yep, I think I would go with that too. It's going to be a close one, I think. But yeah, again, this might just be not quite necessarily a year too early for Ben, but I think he might be better prepared for this tournament this time next year, if he makes it, of course. And also in terms of his health, I think getting through a few rounds at some 250s and 500s just about doable at the moment. But this is obviously playing the elite players, and I think if Lorenzo Musetti was in this group, perhaps I might be favouring Ben to get at least a win. But it's going to be tough for Ben. He could easily have 3 narrow losses, for example, and that would still be okay. I think just because of where Ben's at, he just needs to get some matches under his way and get himself ready for Australia, where I think a deep run will be the minimum, as in he'll be looking at quarterfinals, semi-finals. Anything less than that will be a huge disappointment, because that's how how high the bar is for me in terms of Ben and his career next year, especially.
Yeah, just a quick comment
sure.
off that. I agree, and particularly to add to your point that he got to the semis this year.
Yeah.
So he wants to be able to replicate that. In his mind, anything less than being back in the semis would be, I think, disappointing.
Definitely. Okay, but just one more thing on Zverev as well in his year. Yeah, of course, that win in Australia. I actually saw him up close in Rio. I was at that tournament, and Zverev was it's a bit weird watching him in practice there, because I wasn't even sure if he really wanted to be there necessarily, and his results tended to look like that. He didn't recover in time in terms of his tennis, at least in terms of Indian Wells and Miami, where he had some underwhelming results. And yes, I think he won one tournament. I think it was in Munich, wasn't it, on the clay? But going down in 4 sets to Novak, I mean, he wins the first set and then sort of fades away now. A lot of that, of course, is down to Novak. But yeah, a very unusual year. And of course, he was there or thereabouts with him and Carlos in 2 and 3 in the world, wasn't he, at the beginning of the year? And yet now, I don't know if you know this, Steve, the gap between Zverev and Carlos as of last week was bigger in terms of points than Zverev and the world number 1,000.
That's astounding. That is astounding.
5,000 points, more or less, is the difference between Zverev and number 2, and 5,000 points was the difference between him and the world number 1,000.
Yeah, he just doesn't win enough tournaments. He wins a lot of matches, but he needs to win more titles, not just slams. He needs more elsewhere too. And he didn't do himself justice this year. Let's face it. I frankly think he's going to have a better 2026. I'm pretty convinced of that.
The other match in this group, and I think it's interesting, is going to be a replay of the first match, that is. It's going to be a replay of the Paris Masters final. I always feel tempted to call it Paris-Bercy, even though it's no longer in that part of Paris anymore. Yeah. But it's going to be Sinner against Felix, what you saw from a respected journalist. But anyway, so let's get back into the other match, which is tomorrow. And I will look at the groups as a whole with you shortly and try and eke out some thoughts and predictions. But Zverev is going to be playing Ben Shelton in the second match. I think this is very interesting. I'm very intrigued about Ben Shelton in so many ways.
My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes,
Take
sir.
one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready. Play.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time it is in the world, wherever you're tuning in from. How are you, Fergus?
I am perfect. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Did you manage to catch any of the Alcaraz de Minaur match earlier?
I did not. I was still traveling back from Swansea.
Well,
but
go on.
I saw that de Minaur led Alcaraz led 4-1, 40 love, and then kind of, disappeared like he does.
Yep.
And then, well, saved himself again. But it shows that the dip is there. We thought that between really April and about 3 weeks ago, we didn't think the dip was there anymore. We thought that he was just consistent throughout, and he was too strong for everyone. But it shows it's still there, lurking there, just around. Maybe it's just on indoor courts. We'll never know. But
yeah, it was actually love 40, so it was 4-1. He'd consolidated the break, and now he's love 40 on the de Minaur serve to get the double break. Yeah. And you're thinking, wow, this set is done. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and he also, I think in the service game when he got broken, there were some strange shots selections. I'm seeing Shelton, by the way, doing a bit of net rushing here. The match has already got underway, and I'm looking forward to seeing that evolve, and we'll get into the Shelton Zverev match in a minute. But yeah, just to finish off, Carlos, though, in the second set was, his absolute crazy best. Stretching and defense incredible, shot making. Probably easily the best indoor match he's played this indoor season. But if you ignore the Laver Cup, and I'm quite happy to do so, of course, he's only played one. Did you watch his match against Norrie, by the way?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Okay. What happened there?
Carlos was it felt like Paris was so slow that it almost put Carlos off. Like, it felt that the way that the ball was coming towards Carlos off the Norrie racket, especially off the backhand, was kind of almost like it was just like disorientating for Carlos, and he was missing a lot as well. Norrie just played very cleanly, like Norrie does, and Carlos just kind of gifted him key points, and then there was on break point, Carlos came to the net, and it was a great pass from Norrie, in that third set to kind of really consolidate things. But yeah, Norrie just playing how Norrie does, and Carlos kind of just handing over it to him, really. Already 30-all on the Shelton serve. This, for me, is the match Shelton has to win. Has to, if he wants to make the semis.
Yeah, I think I've got Felix and Yannick coming out of this group. Is that who you have coming out of the group as well?
Yes, I think that's just because Felix is just such a indoor merchant. Merchant's a strong word, but when you win, what is it? I think it's 6 out of your 8 titles are indoor. Yeah, you're gonna have that. Shelton with game point.
And I like the way Shelton just ushered the ball out there at 30-all.
I do think Shelton does win.
Do you? I've got Zverev winning this as long as he's healthy. And I mentioned that because obviously in the last tournament, he was just struggling a bit especially in the final set against Yannick in Paris, the Paris Masters. But I also agree with you in that this is a must-win for both players because we're assuming that they're going to lose to Yannick. I even suggested in the preview that if Ben or Zverev for that matter, if you get a set off Yannick, in terms of how the group dynamics work, I'd almost take that because you might well be the only person in your group to take a set off Yannick, and it might well come down to sets won.
It's very important. All the sets are, remarkably important in the grand scheme of things. If Felix can, nick a breaker off Yannick, and then it's almost like he's guaranteed to go through at that point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Shelton needs to serve ridiculously well throughout the week.
Yeah.
And he needs to make sure that he's fully firing, because obviously Paris he was he got a win against Rublev, but Rublev's so hit and miss these days that you don't know where you want to rank that in terms of wins. So I'm just reading Matthew's
Ben's
comment.
got the hold, by the way, just to let everyone know.
Oh, yeah.
Held there.
Shelton leads love one.
Yeah.
As Zverev racing through his service game is study love. Just said in their previous 4 meetings. I don't. That'd be crazy because they're on clay, not just one break.
Yeah, I mean, Ben did really well to get to the final in a way, sort of belying a lot of predictions and thoughts about Ben on clay. I think Ben's going to have an okay clay career, but I do expect grass and in particular hard court to be where he gets his best results. But that is still surprising that he's not doing better. And Ben's big thing that he needs to improve in 2026 is the return.
Is big time. The return is something that I've just obviously it's not that I don't trust the Sky analysts that they have got it wrong, but that was just a crazy stat that I just wanted to confirm. Zverev holds to love. Yeah, the return is the one glaring weak point in the Shelton game. He's got everything else that you'd want for a top 5 player. The big serve, the huge forehand, the backhand used to be a big issue and more of a complete motion, but it's been improved and it's very solid now and likes to lean on it a lot when going cross court, and it's actually quite dangerous off that wing. Volleys have always been excellent, likes to come to the net off that 7 volley, but the return always been a big issue for Ben. And yeah, I mean the kick that he gets on that second serve is ridiculous, but yeah.
Have you watched the Tennis Podcast's interview with Jack Draper yet? Did you know?
I haven't watched all of it. I've seen clips.
Okay. What do they talk about? His injury, thoughts on 25 and 26?
I talk about originally they were talking about Yannick and him skipping on the Davis Cup, which is a little bit strange because I thought if you manage to secure 20 minutes with Jack Draper, you want to talk about Draper. That's a little strange for me, but
you have thought.
They're just talking about British.
Unless
things.
they were trying to extract something controversial. Him and Yannick are sort of previously doubles partners, right? And seem to have a pretty good relationship.
They're pretty close, I think. It's the same with Carlos, actually. I think Jack and Carlos and Jack and Yannick are all quite close.
Okay.
But yes, they have been pretty close. But they were just talking about British stuff, and then his injury, obviously, and then the calendar. He was also talking about the calendar, so lots of little things.
Okay. 3 game points here for Ben.
Yeah, Matthew. Yeah, that's what I just mentioned. Yeah, the schedule and how it needs to change. He was like this. He was just trying to prove a point, I think. Shelton holds to love, and it's 1-2 in the blink of an eye, really. And this probably could be about who chokes on their service game first.
Back-to-back service holds to love for each of these 2 respective players. I'm hoping as well in terms of Ben that this tournament he can do himself justice post shoulder injury. I know it's his 3rd tournament since coming back, but he hasn't made the semis at either of those 2 tournaments. So he did run into obviously a Yannick Sinner pretty much on fire in the previous one, but he is getting better. And I just wondered if this tournament might just come a bit too soon in A, the comeback from the shoulder injury, and B, his trajectory. I know that when he's getting to slam semi-finals, there might be a stat out there that he hasn't been a top 10 player en route to any of those semi-finals. Was he done 2 Australian Open semi-finals and 1 US Open semi-final? Something like that.
He's only ever beaten Two seeded players at a slam.
Two seeded players, full stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's some conjecture on that. I mean, that'll eventually be put to bed, and you know, he's going to have a marvelous career with hundreds of top 10 wins, I'm sure. But yeah, I remember a quote from Andrei Rublev, I think about 5 years ago, when I think Rublev lost all his round robin matches, and Andrei was just like, you know what, I just don't have that much experience of playing that many top 10 players, especially at this. That was his first, I think, appearance at the ATP Tour Finals, and this is the first time since then that he hasn't made it. So anyway, but I understood what he meant when, you know, but if you're playing top 10 players week in, week out, then you're probably going to do better at this event than if you're not. And Ben's not had that much exposure to top 10 players, at least at slams anyway. So yeah, Zverev here serving at 1-2.
The problem is with when you're ranked. Well, it really depends how you plan your schedule. Because if you're ranked somewhere between 8 and 15, like Rublev, was, or he isn't actually. I think he's ranked 17 at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But you can play those 250s sometimes. Where you are the top seed, or so you're not playing. Yes, you're not playing those top 10 guys week in, week out. Yeah, it's just it's you're not playing those top 10 guys consistently, and that's how you obviously, even if you're losing every single time to a top 10, a top 5 player like 4 and 4,
Ben playing pretty aggressively here, by the way. Very,
actually.
Yeah, he seems super pumped.
He does. Yes, Matthew is correct. It did sound like that was. I've never thought about Draper always seems like a kind of guy that's quite engaging as a person, but in that interview, he did sound like he was reading from a script. To be honest. Oh, that's very unlucky. Shelton being super aggressive on return.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something that's been talked about. And then there's Zverev forehand clip.
Very unlucky. I've just seen that point. Yeah.
Lands on the line.
Yeah, mega aggressive, wasn't he? That was a good return as well. I mean, maybe could have been better, but it was still pretty good. That it certainly rushed Zverev, and yes, as you say, the net called there, benefiting the German.
It was that the Greek Sport interview is something that always sticks in my mind when he was talking about Zverev.
What did he say?
He was like, it's super easy, guys. Hit to the forehand, hit to the forehand, hit to the forehand.
Okay.
Every single time. And was like saying how, if you can break down the serve, you're in the match. You feel as though Zverev is beatable as soon as you neutralize that delivery. He doesn't have these crazy weapons that Carlos and Sinner has. Doesn't have the consistency of Yannick and all the firepower of Carlos. So he's a top 3 player. That you can beat, and it's been proven this year. That you can. Worst loss this year for Zverev, probably Comensana in
Rio. Yeah, I mean, that was the beginning of the rut. I mean, it wasn't quite the complete beginning because I think he lost to Cerundolo, didn't he, in Argentina? But when he turns up for that Latin American swing, I was pretty optimistic about his chances of winning at least one of the 2 tournaments. I think I had him more slated for a win in Rio than in Buenos Aires. I just thought that the competition in Buenos Aires, despite being a 250, just because of the Argentinians there and so on and so forth, and obviously the way Fonseca played that tournament. But in the end, Zverev holds after being love 15 down. He wins 4 points in a row. But yeah, the Zverev year, I mean, pretty underwhelming by his extremely high standards, right?
Very underwhelming. I mean, won Munich, obviously.
It's certainly the final. That's not bad to play Ben in the final, if you ask me. But gets to the final in Stuttgart, loses in the semis in Halle, loses in the final. Obviously, Australian Open aside, I mean, even there, I think.
Oh yeah, we forget that he has made a slam final this year.
Yeah, but then from that moment is really when we sort of think of. I think of his year from February onwards, kind of in a way.
I think that's fair.
Gets the first set against Djokovic in Paris in the French Open, and then loses in 4. Does he go in the first round of Wimbledon?
Yeah, first round of Wimbledon to Rindic Nesh.
Yeah,
in 4.
And I know his grass court is not exactly amazing for him, but he still should be going deep at Wimbledon, if not necessarily getting to the final.
Issues for Shelton now. Love 30.
Definitely, yes.
A couple of errors. Trying to be really explosive, trying to, maybe just upset Zverev at the moment. But Ben has such an aggressive take back on the slice. Yeah. 3 break points. I'm surprised Sheldon didn't pull up a defensive lob there. It felt like he was there. It was a little strange.
He thought about, off that first slice, he thought about coming into the net just for a moment. I mean, that's clearly part of the plan today. But I think he probably made the right decision, because I think the slice wasn't necessarily mega difficult for Zverev to deal with that first one. But
Zverev is so... Oh, hold on. Second serve. I'd put a little bit of money that this is a double if he goes big. Doesn't go as big, goes out wide. Drop shot returns, Zverev's there easily. Breaks. Well, that's 2 things. As a solid return game from Zverev, and that's a poor service game from Ben.
Yeah.
The drop shot, the out wide drop shot combination not working for Ben. And it was, that was, you felt like with Ben's serve, he can always get himself out of trouble. I feel like if he had just, stuck in the rally instead of,
he's got to get the first serve in as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you mentioned the kick sometimes on the second, but he needs to be getting 60+%. By the way, Dimonor today, I think he got his first serve in about 48, or it might have been 52. It was very close to the 50 mark, getting his first serve in. And he wasn't winning that. He was winning well under half of his second serve. So when you got those, when you're not getting many first serves in, or not as many as you really need to be, and then you're not winning lots of your second serve points, then you're going to be losing a lot of tennis matches.
Yeah, that's a struggle for Dimonor, especially with his serve's obviously not a huge weapon as it is. So if you
it's not.
Maybe. I was just thinking who's probably, stats wise, if I look to the ATP stats, who's the least clinical server out of the 8.
You very quickly find this on the website, right? Who's leading the board and stuff. If you can just get that up for me very quickly, while I guesstimate where he is out of the 8 players at the Tour Finals. I'm pretty sure that Alcaraz, Sinner, Zverev, Felix, Ben should be, at least to the eye, all ahead of Dimonor in the serving department. Who else? Fritz should be ahead of him as well. Musetti might be the only one who's behind him. That would be my guesstimate. I probably would go with Dimonor ahead of Musetti, but I could be wrong on that one.
Okay, so so I have them. So in terms of the 8, so it's Yannick first, obviously.
Okay.
And then it's Sasha. Oh no, sorry, that's Fritz. Sorry, Fritz.
Fritz is next. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Then it's Sasha, Felix, Ben, Carlos. Then Musetti. Then Dimonor.
Okay, so Musetti does just get past him. Yeah. That doesn't entirely that. The first 6, I think, I'm just a bit surprised that Alcaraz is 6th.
The top 6 are all in the top 10 in terms of.
Okay, yeah. So it's all pretty close.
Carlos is 10. Carlos is 10.
Carlos is 10, is he? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still pretty good, I think. Zverev looks like he's going to comfortably hold his 40 love on the show.
Yeah, and does hold comfortably for 4-2.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine for Carlos. He could have easily had a sort of Rafa style first few years where Rafa used to just put his serve in play and then hope the point, win the point from that moment onwards, really. But yeah, if he stays 10th throughout his career, then he's going to be doing very, very well because everything else is just so good. His volleys are great. His touch, his feel, his forehand, and his backhand today, by the way, really interesting tactic that he deployed today was hitting that backhand so early off the ground and changing direction and going down the line with that backhand. Yeah, against
Carlos.
Carlos,
right, yeah.
If you're 10th, so that's what I mean. If you've got the 10th best serve in the world and you're first or close to first in every other department, well, you're winning lots of tournaments and lots of big tournaments. 15 love.
That was in between these two as well. You feel as though Zverev needs a dip for Shelton, especially with Shelton's return game. You feel as though Zverev's already has a very productive serve. You feel as though Shelton needs a dip, or he needs to peak in terms of returning ability because it just hasn't been there at the moment. Whoa, hello.
Oh, I'm going to watch this now. I'm a few seconds behind you. Matthew here saying, I think de Minaur had a high first serve percentage in the first set. I think his first serve stats. Maybe it was it was at the end of the match when it was dropped significantly because it was about 50. It might have been 52, but it was pretty close to that. Nice forehand winner there from Zverev to get to 30-15. Is this sort of Sinner's tournament to lose, or am I getting a bit carried away with Yannick?
No, I think that's fair. I think Carlos needs to have a sort of, I don't know what the word is, needs to have a moment where everything clicks on a indoor hardcourt because we haven't had that yet.
No, I mean he won. I mean, actually, me and you, I think it was me and you, or certainly we were doing a commentary maybe the day before the Rotterdam final. And I think we speculated, and I think you might have gone for a de Minaur win against Carlos in that final.
I think I did. It did go 3.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And I had a feeling it would be more competitive. I think it was Damien that was like, nah, Carlos in straights, and it's a conversation. But yeah, it was competitive, yeah, for sure.
The most competitive match that de Minaur's had between either Sinner or Alcaraz for me, I think. Obviously, that Sinner head-to-head is pretty brutal.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's one that I think might become Monfils Djokovic-esque. I think Monfils Djokovic is maybe 20-0. I wonder if he can get his first win next year against Djokovic. What was going to be
his last year?
Yeah.
On tour. I think it's good that Djokovic, that Monfils has called it, and he said that next year will be his last year. He'll probably he'll retire in Paris Bercy. Oh, not Bercy because it's not Paris Bercy anymore. But
yeah, I know what you mean. Paris Masters, yeah.
In Paris Masters, he'll retire there. A great send off. It'll be good. And let's see what he can do. He's obviously. I don't think ranking is a big problem for him right now. Obviously, he's not thinking about that. I would say, tournaments are probably a bigger thing for him. He's obviously got his title to defend in Auckland in 6 or 7 weeks. So that's probably the first. It's probably the first hurdle to break his own record.
Yeah.
Zverev serving at 4-3.
I would advise most or all players, and it was interesting de Minaur didn't choose this option today, but to serve first. A few reasons for me suggesting that, I think. Well, actually, there's one main reason, but I'll come to that in a moment. The other reason is I think the surface is pretty quick. And so even if you are de Minaur or Musetti, then I would still serve first. The main reason is, though, if it comes down to, just imagine it comes down to a 1-game difference between you qualifying and not qualifying. It might be just because you chose to serve second in the first set. Because you lose 6, the margins are so far. It's unlikely, there's probably a 1 in 100 chance that it'll come down to just 1 game. But I was looking at going into the WTA finals and that final round robin set of matches in the group involving Sabalenka and Goff. And I was like, whoever wins the toss in that Sabalenka-Goff match in particular, you've got to serve first. Because it could have, I think I calculated it to be a 5-game swing, that if Goff won in 3 sets but won 5 more games, and 4 games wasn't going to be enough. And that might just be the difference,
Yeah. It's interesting. I also think in these types of matches, when games are so important that, even scoreboard pressure is a big thing, even if you have Yannick or Carlos at 5-4, they're serving to stay in it, who knows, they might blink, you've got to think that they're going to blink. That's another very, very easy service game for Zverev. Just dropped 1 point so far on serve.
Is that all he's dropped in the whole set?
Mm-hmm.
It was that first point, wasn't it? And then Ben comes into the net and is unlucky not to get to love 30. And this set could have had a very different complexion if he had have got that point. Yeah. But anyway, Ben's now serving to stay in it.
Yeah, exactly. 7 volleys off the second serve. That's not going to be good enough, but that is, oh my word. Well, that's a great point. As Zverev comes out on top.
I mean, he's probably following instructions from his father, I guess, in terms of some of these tactics. A very interesting decision, as you said, to second serve that one. Nice decision there from Zverev to go in behind him as well on that point.
Yeah. Ben tries to go out wide, misses.
Yes, that's 2 second serves in a row.
It's a lot slower of a second delivery and misses the forehand into the net.
Mm-hmm. WTA Weekly will be on in a couple of hours, a little bit more than a couple of hours, actually, with Nick hosting, and Gil Gross is joining Nick today to reflect on the...
Is he?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know we had that in the budget.
Yeah, Gil comes on, I would say, at least once a year over the last 3 years. I remember him and I reflected on a match of the year in, I think, 22 and in 23. I think we did matches of the year together. Last year, I think we looked back on the WTA year. And I've also had him on during during Wimbledon to do some previews a couple of years ago. So yeah, but I tried to get him on for WTA stuff, actually, just because I know he does so much ATP on his 2 or 3 YouTube channels that he has. So I think it's always good. He does do WTA stuff as well. That's a bad forehand miss there from Ben. And
3 set points for Zverev. And obviously we were just talking about how important it is to serve first in these sorts of matches. And, Zverev will serve first in the second if he takes these next 2 points.
And he's got these set points here. Yeah, and he will serve first, as you say.
Okay. I didn't know that Gil came on every now and again. Yeah.
Yeah. Once or twice a year it's been. Unreturned serve to get to 15-40.
Misses the first on the second point.
They've raced through this set.
Just half an hour, less than that. Mm-hmm. That is huge. Huge kick, but Zverev gets the return in, and Shelton tries to follow it in, and the volley goes into the net.
Even by Ben's standards today, he's just a bit hyper.
You feel like he probably needs to calm down. You feel as though the adrenaline is it's my first time in Turin. Like, let's go. Let's go out, play really aggressive. How aggressive was that return? At 2-1, 1-2, love 15.
Someone we've not had on the show for a long time, might be like 2 years even, is Craig O'Shaughnessy, if you're familiar with him. He actually used to work with Novak about 10, 12 years ago. I think around the time that Boris was working with Novak. And he's an ATP analyst guy. He's got his own website and stuff. He's pretty good, but I haven't had him on for a couple of years. But yeah, back to Gil. I like to get him on the WTA stuff because I think it's a great way of us getting a fresh angle out of him. He may well have done something on the WTA finals on his channel, but he doesn't do as much on the WTA, so it's good to get him. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would have him on for ATP as well, but he's going to put his stuff out first on his channel, and then he's just going to be repeating probably that kind of narrative on his. So I think it's kind of good to get him. I had him on. In fact, one thing that will definitely come up at some point is the last time he was on was at the end of last year. And we did our double. Look at this going across the bottom of the screen right now. These are Gil's and my picks for year end 2025. So there's mine first. I've got Sabalenka first. I think that's probably in terms of exact positions, the only one I got exactly right. That's Gil's now going across there. So one thing he was sort of on, which I would obviously he got right and I didn't, was that Paolini was going to stay in the top 10. I think I had her dropping out. He's got his first one and two right. He's gone for. I thought we'd have a dip from Swiatek, and until Wimbledon.
Well, we did.
Yeah, we did have a dip. Yeah, well, she wins a slam. I don't know if you can still say that's a dip.
Well,
I mean, we had a dip for 6 months.
She had a dip till Wimbledon. She had a dip.
Yeah.
That loss to Keys kind of set up the year, the first half of the year for her.
Yeah, but I think she did drop to 6 or 7 in the world pre Hard Hombo, pre Wimbledon, but then obviously that changes everything.
It's turned into quite a big clip of when she was playing Keys, that semi-final, goes to a third set, she's had a toilet break. She's bouncing around the court, doing her preparation, whilst Keys is standing there ready to serve, and everyone's eager, let's get on with this. Come on. And because she's just trying to mess with Keys, and Keys shoves one down the tee at 115 miles an hour ace, and just kind of, says, yeah, you can do that what you want, but, I'll still serve 115 down the tee.
I thought that, and she's can't be far away, Goff, although she would have dropped some points at the WTA finals, but for not retaining her title. But yeah, I had Goff getting to world number 2, Sabalenka staying at 1. There's a bit of a thing with both of us. I think I had Mukova at 9 and Gil had her a bit higher, but we are, relying on Mukova having an injury-free year, which just doesn't happen really. So yeah, Qinwen Zheng though has a pretty good track record in terms of health. So her obviously having an injury this year scuppers her chances of staying in the top or being in the top 5, where we both had her. Rybakina I don't know where she is now in the world rankings. She's probably shot up.
I was just about to go through. This is the official end of year rankings. A good start for Ben in the second set, has 15-30 on return. Yeah. First inkling at a chance on return. So at 10 we have Alexandrova.
This is completely updated after because they won't be out until tomorrow.
Yes, this is this is Alexandrova at 10, Andreeva at 9, Paolini at 8, Keys 7, Pegula 6, Rybakina 5, Anisimova 4, Goff 3, Swiatek 2, Sabalenka 1.
Mino Andreeva at 9. That's I guess I should have known that, but her just dropping the last sort of couple of months of the year, really struggling to get good results, and then just missing out on the WTA finals at the expense of. So Rybakina's up to 5. Those 5 next year, and if Mida can get her confidence back as well, that those 6 players, if Mida, as I say, is there or thereabouts, they're gonna be. It's going to be so competitive and I'm thinking of yeah, maybe Goff at Wimbledon is a non-starter really, but the other 5 at Wimbledon will all be in with a shout. I would have thought.
Which is funny when you say that, because Wimbledon's where she really first.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I spoke to Coco actually 2.5 years ago, just before she won her first slam, and I'll play it at the next changeover. It's a 66. It's a bit loud actually for some reason on the audio, so maybe just turn your laptop down as I play it. But, it's me speaking to her a couple of months before she won her first slam.
Well, two things to pick up there. 30-all Ben tries to go huge with a backhand, goes into the halfway up the net. You feel like that is very unnecessary for such a key moment. You know, if he can break early, start well, you know, put some doubt in the Zverev mind, and then also at 40-30, that's a great pass from Zverev.
He is, although I don't know whether that was the right time to come to the net. I don't think either. I mean, it was a fairly neutral-ish rally. Yes, his forehand was quite good, but maybe just, I mean, it was a sort of a good forehand with some good depth, but then just wait. That was just one of those forehands that gets you up in the rally. It's not a forehand that's going to be like, oh, now I can charge into the net. Anyways, 15
you also feel like with how good that forehand was from Ben, that he was going to get a short ball from Sasha.
Yeah, anyway. Exactly. And then you go in the net, perhaps. But anyway, it is what it is. He's got this game plan and he's sticking to it, at least for now. And it may well yet pay off. It's just not paying off right now. Yeah, the next changeover, I'll play the Coco clip of me chatting to her. I think it was in Madrid 23. And yeah, and we mentioned the fact, because I think the question centers around her sort of preferred surface and where the first slam might come from in terms of that surface thing. And yeah, her breakout result was on. But since that win over Venus Williams, her record, I think she might have had a first round loss in 24 to Svitolina, maybe. And then this year, I don't remember if she had a win there. Maybe one.
I think it was round two or three. I can't remember.
No, round one.
It wasn't first round because
it was first round.
It wasn't.
According to my quick look, she
was
lost to Yastremska in the first round. Yeah, I wasn't. I did think it might have been first round, but then I just erred on the side of caution and went second.
Because I thought it would have been. Because the big one that sticks out for me at Wimbledon was Pegula losing first round in like an hour.
Yeah, that was. I think I had her get into the final, and that was obviously messed up on the first day or first round. I think she might have been playing that on an outer court as well. It was sort of a match I didn't watch.
She was on court 3. I remember.
Yeah.
Because I went the next day.
Okay.
And it was. I remember it was same day that because Pegula lost, and then about 20 minutes later I was on here doing Iala Krejcikova.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I went there the next day, and oh no, maybe it wasn't. Anyway, but I didn't realize Goff lost first round this year.
Yeah, and I think she lost first round last year as well. It might have been 23. She lost to Svitolina in the first round, actually. Let's have a quick look. Wimbledon 2024 Goff. So yeah, first round to Yastremska. I mean, that's probably a pretty tough one. 24, she got to the round of 16 before losing to Navarro. Good win over Qatar.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, I remember that.
It was a good match against Navarro. It was straight sets, but still good.
That's another unforced error from Ben. Like,
yeah, 1-1. Yeah. Yeah, first round to Kenin in 23. I actually remember seeing the tail end of that in a bar. I went to Wimbledon that year, and I was with Jack in a bar, and Jakub, who sadly, unfortunately, passed away later that year. But anyway, the three of us were in a bar watching the latter stages of Kenin Goff Haven't had a nice day at Wimbledon. Actually, it might have rained that day. She also said a nice day at Wimbledon. It might have been an underwhelming day because of the weather. But anyway, whatever. Zverev here, 30 love on the German serve.
Just dropped the 1 point when landing that first serve. 19 out of 20 so far.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, stat popping up. Ben's doing all right as well when he gets his first serve in as well. 16.
What is it? 16 out of 20, yeah. Yeah, this match could be, another break for a break out of nowhere for Zverev, and this match could be over in just about an hour with how quick these two are racing through. No, long rallies are non-existent between these two.
Yeah. So Greek Sports said just go for the forehand. Yeah.
Yeah. That's an excellent volley you're about to see from Zverev.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a ball you come into. Yeah, it's a lovely volley, that. My goodness me. That wasn't easy.
No, it's an excellent volley.
He's not known for his volleys, Zverev, but that was very,
No, he is not. See, how tall is he? 6'4", 6'5"?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe 6'5", I'd say.
Zverev does hold to love again.
Right, I'm gonna just turn your laptops down, everyone. Just marginally. It's not crazy loud, but just turn them down slightly. I'm gonna play this clip of me talking to Coco in May of 2023, I think it was. So 3 months before she won the US Open. You've been to the French Open final. Your breakthrough, at least standout result at the beginning of your career, was on grass against Venus. You've been very solid on the hard courts. Is there a slam in particular that you go, I think that's, if I'm going to get one, the first one might come here, there, or where?
Well, I don't know. I mean, everyone, I'm like, I think this is the first one. So I don't know. I mean, obviously now going to the French, I do have a lot of confidence on the surface, but I'm not really thinking about that. I feel like, in the past I was, and it gave me some defeats that I feel like I shouldn't have lost, maybe more so my head. So going in now, I mean, I feel like, everyone could be the one, but I think I have to just take it a match at a time and just feel it out and enjoy it. I think when you focus too much on the destination, you don't enjoy the journey there. So now I want to focus more on the journey, and if the destination gets there, that's great.
So that's Coco Gauff. That year was not looking good for her in many respects. I think she had, I mentioned the first round loss she had to Kenin. I think she lost to Swiatek at that year's French Open in the quarters, although I did like her approach in that match. I remember she was much more aggressive and going for it. And yes, she lost in straight sets, but it was pretty competitive, which, don't forget, this is middle of 2023 when she had yet to beat Iga. But then she goes out first round at Wimbledon, and it's like, my goodness me, this year is not working out very well for Coco. And then she arrives in North America, and then she wins. I think she wins 3 tournaments. I think she wins. Does she win Washington maybe? And Cincinnati, I'm gonna say. Or was it Canada?
I don't think Washington. I don't think she won Washington.
It might have been Canada and Cincinnati, or I think she was unbeaten anyway throughout the North American hardcourt swing, winning. She might have won Canada and Cincinnati and the US Open.
Ben is still looking ultra aggressive, and Zverev puts up a defensive block there, and it pays off. Shelton goes wide. Yeah, unforced errors in the match. Zverev 3, Shelton 13. Because that was basically when I really started watching tennis. That point, I remember Gauff
on Washington, I think she might have won Washington. I'm just gonna. Yeah, she beat Sakkari in the final of Washington. She then wins Cincinnati, and then she wins the US Open. I don't think she played Canada. I think she was unbeaten throughout that spell. Yeah. That interview, I think, that I've got with Coco is out there, but I think it might be a members only video. I can't remember what I did with it, but I think it might be members only. Anyway, 30-15.
I think that sort of moment, the Gauff falling to the floor after, beating Sabalenka.
Yeah.
It was a great match as well. I remember. It was like the fifth
Yeah.
ever tennis match I watched.
Okay. Second serve points won. Ben Shelton, 2 from 11.
That is a number that it really will not look very.
I mean, I was
pretty.
sort of saying about De Minaur, I think he was below 50%. I think it might have been 44% he won on second serve. And I was a bit like, yeah, it's going to be difficult. But if you're winning 2 from 11, which is about, I don't know, 18% or something.
That forehand winner was Ben's first forehand winner in the match.
Yep.
Which is a bad stat if you're Ben Shelton, as your forehand is such a big weapon.
Yeah.
No, it goes long. Ben just looks like he's forcing it too much. He's like, I don't know. Looks like someone's like given him something before the match to be like, let's like go a million miles an hour.
Yeah, like I say, even by his standards, he's
yeah. And Ben's a pumped up guy.
Yeah.
I still remember. I think my first Ben Shelton experience was like truly was apart from that 23 US Open run was the first match I fully watched of him was him versus Evans at Acapulco in 24.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and he misses the volley. Break point Zverev. It felt like he came in off the wrong ball again. You'll watch it in a second.
Yeah, I'm watching it now, Yeah, it probably as well he could have done. I mean, it's a quick one coming to him, that final volley. It was coming at him some pace, so he has to react, but probably you've just got to get that back in play and you've won the point. But he hits the volley out. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but anyway, break point it is.
Oh, that is a hell of a break point save. A stab volley. The point's all over the place, but it's an excellent break point save.
I'm watching it now, yeah. And he's almost on the floor, Ben. 1 point. Now he's in the net. Yeah. That's huge. Look at how pumped he is there. Now get 2 first serves in, Ben, and you're probably okay.
I thought Zverev had found the pass, but it's a great stab volley.
And of course, Man City won today, didn't they? So Nerlan is all like, oh, hello, everyone. I'm going to mention a random Man City player in the chat. Nerlan in the second half of 2025 has been less apparent. And I think I see a correlation between Milo Andreeva's poor form in the second half of 2025 and Nerlan's non-appearance on Talking Tennis. He's a huge Andreeva fan.
I didn't realize he was a huge Andreeva fan.
Yeah, there was one spell I checked at some point this year. I checked like 9 of his last 10 tweets were about Milo Andreeva.
I don't think I have him on Twitter.
Do you not?
I had
for about 4 months, everything was about Milo Andreeva or cats.
Second break point for Shelton here, saved with a very good serve up the tee. He is pumped. That is 232 down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you mentioned Boris Becker earlier.
Yeah.
And I had a nice surprise when he liked my tweet a couple weeks ago.
Oh, nice. What was the tweet?
It was just about Draper and Draper's season.
Okay.
Yeah, but I just wasn't expecting Boris Becker to be liking it. It really caught me off guard, actually.
Yeah. He has his moments when he's quite active on Twitter. It might be quite, sort of not quite, a little bit random. It might be just like Liverpool are playing and he tweets about the match or
it can be very random, but yeah. Shelton with game point here after saving 2 break points. It seems that Ben's really trying to mix it up and just, he's come in on a couple second serves, 7 volleying second serves. It's not really a prolonged tactic. Yeah, like you'll see that in a minute. For me, that's like feels like Ben is like everything's like doing this, and it's not quite.
We have a Discord set up, and I'm just trying to find the link to it so I can share it in the live chat.
Shelton with a good serve at the tee. It's a good return from Zverev. Oh, Shelton is really pumped up. That's a great backhand winner, though. Cross court. Shelton is very much pumped. $140K off the backhand. It's about 85 miles an hour, I think, something like that. I wonder if he's going to second serve and volley here. No, it's a double instead. So this game goes on, by far the longest game of the match.
We had a huge audience yesterday for the Djokovic-Musetti match. I think it peaked at about 300.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Excellent. And we went past 20,000.
Yeah, that was basically primarily that match amongst the three that we covered yesterday that got us there, yeah. I think we were about. I sent a WhatsApp to both James and Zach on Friday. No, Zach, and I said we might get to 20,000. It's a bit of an ask because I think we were 40 away, but we generally add 10, 20 per day. But with all the streams coming up the following day, I thought we might add 20 or 30, which will get us very, very close. I think we needed, like I say, about 40. But because the epic nature of that match and the huge audience and the fact that it was 3 sets and 3 hours plus, that all added up. And we just went past it just in the last 10 minutes. In fact, I think I was because I joined that particular stream for the last few minutes, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm not going to leave until we get to 20,000. In the end, Ben holds.
He does hold. Now, what has he got on return? Because he's barely made a scratch on Zverev's return game as of yet. Gets through the longest game of the match by a significant portion. I think that was bordering on 9 minutes, that game. We will see whether Zverev has...
Who's going to be ranked higher? It's basically the same question, but who's going to be ranked higher? Who's going to have the better year in 2026 between, you know who the 2 players I'm going to ask?
Yes, I do.
Go on then, tell me which 2 players they are.
I don't know. Shelton wins first point on the return. Nice backhand up the line.
Which 2 players? Go on.
It's tough for me to say right now. But I'm probably, just because I don't want to, put my own foot in my mouth and then have to eat it, this time next year. So I'm gonna go. It's gonna be very close. I think both will have not a similar year. But
which 2 players, Fergus? Because I haven't heard you say which 2 players yet.
Sorry, we're talking about Ben Shelton and Jack Draper, aren't we?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Shelton at love 30 for the first time on the Zverev serve. Here we go. This is the turning point, hopefully. I don't know. It depends how much tennis Jack plays next year. Obviously, seems to have stuffed the beginning of his schedule, so he doesn't do what he did at the AO last year, which was, play 3-5 sets in a row and completely be absolutely cooked for Carlos in round 4.
His win over Carlos surprised me at Indian Wells. That's the win that sort of defined his year in many respects. That winning that one match, obviously, then he beats Holger in the final. I'm going to go with Ben to just be ahead of Jack this time next year. Similar to this year, of course, but of course Jack's last few months have been out because of injury.
Well, I just find it crazy how Jack's played 11 tournaments this year, and he didn't even finish the last one. Just 10 tournaments.
Which was his last tournament? US Open?
US Open, yeah. Was supposed to play Bergs in round 2.
Okay, so he plays his first round and then pulls out before Bergs. Okay.
Yeah. So I can probably, Zverev now pulls back to 30 all. Shelton was in that point at love 30 and he decided to go big, just missed it long.
Do I think my technical understanding of tennis has improved in the last 4 or 5 years? Yeah, probably. Probably because I play more tennis now than ever before. But yeah, of course, I'm probably watching more. But it hasn't. It's not dramatically changed in that 4 or 5 years. It's not like I didn't really understand the difference between a slice and a flat backhand and a topspin forehand. I always had a pretty good understanding of the game, but probably you just get a better feel for it. It's probably more subconscious, and you just know the results and you know the matchups and all that stuff. That's the kind of stuff where I'm more aware. Game point now for Zverev.
Oh, yeah. And he does hold. That is a missed opportunity for Ben. Yeah, I mean, that's not crazy to say that now. I don't think the Draper have a better season than the one he's just had. But you have to think he's got absolutely nothing to defend post Queens.
Yeah, right. Did he lose first round at Wimbledon? No.
Second.
Second or third?
Second to Cilic.
Second, yeah.
I was there that day. Terrible day to go. 2 years running, I've gone on the day that Jack's playing his second round match and he loses. But yeah, I mean, obviously some big results from Jack this year. 4th round, so his 11 tournaments. So 4th round of AO, and then he got to the final in Doha, lost to Rublev in 3. Won Indian Wells, lost second round in Miami to obviously eventual champion in Mensik.
Okay, that's a result I'd forgotten about, actually.
Yeah. Then didn't play till Monte Carlo. Lost 3rd round to David.
His clay court season was totally fine, by the way.
Huh?
His clay court season was good, considering I don't think he's going to, a bit like I was talking about Ben earlier, wasn't it? His clay court season, he's not winning the French Open in his career, I don't think. So, getting to the final of Madrid and winning matches at the French Open is totally fine.
Yeah. Made the final of Madrid, quarters of Rome, 4th round of Roland Garros.
Yeah.
Semi-final of Queens, 2nd round of Wimbledon, and then 2nd round of US. That was his year.
Yeah. As you said, the last sort of real thing was Queens. What did he lose? Semi-final? Did he say Queens?
Semi-final to Lehechka. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He's obviously got a lot of points to gain in the second half. Whether he can match that sort of getting a 1,000 in the first half of next season, we'll see. But
it's going to be tough to. He's going to need to hit the ground running for sure.
If he's fit, he could, and his draw's okay. He could easily make the quarters in Melbourne. You okay, Brenner?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah.
I am on mute.
You're not anymore.
This works?
Yeah.
No, still on mute for some reason. Keep talking.
I can hear him. Stop.
Oh, you can hear him, but I can't. Why can't I hear him?
You actually can't. I thought you were pulling his leg.
No, sorry, not at all. Go again, Brenner.
You got me?
Yeah, I got you now.
I
don't know why. That's never happened in all the years of streaming where one person can hear, not the other one. Brenna, we had a question. I think it was me who posed it. Who will be higher this time next year in the rankings, Ben Shelton or Jack Draper?
I never actually answered your question, by the way. But
Did you not go with Ben Fergus in the end?
No, you went for Ben.
Okay.
I said I'm just gonna back Jack. I think it'll be this time next year. They'll be somewhere around 4, 5, and 6.
I would also back Jack, but yeah, I still just think he's a little bit more of a polished lefty. But what about how does Jack not playing the last 5 months affect him?
Because he still might be off it in Australia,
Fair.
I think the whole point of him playing as much tennis as possible before Australia is, because I remember so clearly it was like 3 a.m. and I watched Jack hit 93 unforced errors against Navoni in round 1 of Australian Open, and it was just so grim. As Shelton holds to love, as 3-all. But yeah, has playing some exhibitions in December or whatever, but then playing United Cup and then Adelaide before the AO starts, so playing both weeks in the lead up to the Australian Open. And obviously last year didn't play any warm-up, and then was absolutely fried by round 4 when he had to play Carlos. So
right. Wait, did you say so? He's playing United Cup, obviously. You said Adelaide. Is he also playing Brisbane or no?
No, so United Cup.
Just those 2 weeks.
Yeah, just the 2 weeks. Yeah, because it's 2 weeks before the AO. Am I wrong? Or is it 3? Or am I wrong?
United Cup starts like a little bit early. It might just be a day or two before.
Only by a day or two. Yeah.
Regarding your question, Nerlan, I think Damien tweeted about this a few days ago. Yeah, he has been unwell, but fingers crossed we'll have him fit and firing again very soon. Yes. United Cup. So I was actually just distracted slightly. He's playing United Cup, and is he playing something else as well? Is he before
Adelaide?
Australia?
Yeah. So made the final in 20.
Is Adelaide the immediate week before the AO?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shelton broken twice in the first set. Tell me about that.
Broke who twice?
He was broken twice.
Oh, he was broken twice. Yeah.
Not a good serving day, or
it's like someone gave him something that's like means his brain's working at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and it's like he's not keeping up.
So hyper, even by his standards, and I've probably said that about 4 times. But the other thing was, I think we saw a stat at the beginning of the second set: 2 from 11, 2 points from 11 on second serve. The second break, by the way, was to seal the set for Zverev, but it was kind of all or nothing. I think the ones when he was holding was like very, very comfortable. I think he had 3 maybe comfortable holds, something like that, 4 comfortable holds, and then 3 comfortable holds, and then the 2 breaks that you highlighted. 4 comfortable holds.
Return game's also been a little. It just hasn't been clever. You feel like you probably want to have some sort of game plan when you're playing Sasha, and there'll be it's 30-all on Sasha's serve, and he'll go absolutely huge with a backhand, and it'll bury into the bottom of the net. He's not thinking about get into the rally, make him play every ball. It's just not too clever from Ben so far. And had love 30, I think, last service game, and was in the point at love 30, and tries to go absolutely huge on a forehand and goes long, and then Zverev holds. So
I saw that point.
Go on, Benna.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw that point. I was like, kind of had something there, pushing Zverev off center to his forehand and get a short ball, and then you can kind of go inside in with the lefty forehand and be in attack mode. But yeah, kind of just stood there and went big. I don't know.
Also, coming in off strange balls.
Yeah.
he's just, the choice was not like, I think there was he played a backhand literally straight in, like middle of the court, like half court into the Zverev backhand, and just got past. Like, that will happen 10 times out of 10. Like, Zverev's done it a million times. It's just not, I just don't think he's played it very smart so far. He clearly has a game plan. He started returning super aggressive, like super aggressive. But it hasn't really worked.
In that first set, he barely laid a glove on the Zverev serve, but there was one game, and I think it might have been his only point in the whole set or maybe not his only point, but it was his only game where he made any sort of, he got to love 15 and he comes into the net, and he's actually the right decision, I think. And Zverev gets a bit lucky as Zverev tries to pass, but it clips the net and flies over Ben's racket and still lands in. So you get to love 30 there, and who knows, but yeah, I think they were on serve at that point. It was probably 3.
Yeah, they were.
So,
that's you wonder how different the set would be, if Ben gets to love 30 there. But yeah, and we were saying at the beginning that the return is still the biggest weakness in Ben's game.
Yeah, it's definitely difficult, especially in these conditions. Zverev, pretty good track record here. Yeah, John?
Yeah. Won the title twice, has he?
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think, what was it?
It's one of his earlier titles. He won
17 and 19, I think.
No, he didn't win it in 19. He might have won it in 19. He won it in 21, beating Medvedev.
Oh, 21.
That might have been the first year in Turin, actually. I think it was, yeah. He won it in 21, beat Djokovic in the semis, and then beat Medvedev in the finals. And I think he won it in like 18, maybe? 2018?
Maybe 18. I think 17 was Dimitrov. I'm trying to remember. But Tsitsipas also won it in
2018, he beat Djokovic in the final.
Yeah.
Didn't drop a set in the whole tournament, and he beats Cilic in his opener. He beats... Oh, no, sorry, that's not true. Not true. But he wins the title. But listen to this. He wins in straight sets over Cilic. He then gets beaten in straight sets by Djokovic before beating John Isner in straight sets. But then he backs up this. In the semis, he beats Federer in straights, and then Djokovic in straights in the finals. So he gets revenge on Djokovic in the group stage loss. Yeah.
Isner, Cilic, and Djokovic as your group. I don't know how I feel about that. That's
well...
Where are you guys? You just finishing that point?
40-15 for me.
Yeah. 30-15 for me. I'm behind, basically.
Okay. I'm very ahead. I can.
Lucky Ben there with that net cord.
Yeah. That's a crazy run. But like, that's never going to cut it. And he gets away with it. Okay. That was...
Yeah. Very odd game.
Yeah. I would have never thought Zverev to miss that any
drop shot was rubbish.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible.
A +1 drop shot.
As soon as it comes off his racket, it's already like a couple of meters in the air, and you're thinking, my goodness me, this is going to bounce pretty high.
No. Brenna, he's been really mixing it up, mixing it up.
Even on serve in that game,
second
slider,
I've seen second serve,
body slider on the ad. It was just interesting.
I've seen 2 second serve 7 volleys. He's missed the first, then gone kicker up the tee, serve and volley.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
random.
It's just like, I don't know. Is the tactic just keep it like really different? But like, I don't know. I don't know if that's the tactic or like, yeah. Feels like he doesn't have to go that big on like that sort of ball. This is feels like I'm watching Fonseca of about 3 months ago.
Yeah,
currently,
it's definitely fair.
which is like, bash your way out of every situation and, hit the odd crazy forehand winner. But, most of the time you're just missing everything.
Where is Fonseca in the live rankings?
24.
Ooh.
He somehow climbed a spot. Well, yeah, he somehow climbed a spot then, right? Because he was 25.
He would have been 25 if Nori won the title in Metz, but he's 24.
Okay. Where's Lerner Tien? 38.
30.
Okay. 38. Oh, he's 38 right now, but maybe tomorrow he might be higher.
0. He will.
And then Mensik finished 30. Where did Mensik finish? 30-ish.
Oh no, like 17. So.
Jeez.
He was 19, or he's 19 now, but tomorrow he might be higher or lower.
Zverev holds to love. 5-4.
Pretty good for the next gen trio there.
Yeah,
and Mickelson was part of that.
Probably will be
next gen group too. Yeah.
All will probably be seeded at the AO. Tien has nothing to defend.
Will they all be seeded? Yeah, sure. Yeah, Tien, if he's that high. Yeah, he's 28, Tien. Yeah. Which of those three is going to finish higher by this time next year? So which one of those three will be highest in the rankings?
Easy answer to say Fonseca, but I'm actually going to go Tien.
I don't even think that's the easy answer. Maybe the easy I guess Mensik has also been question marks, but his health has been it's been difficult.
Yeah, but like say Mensik has a horror draw Miami.
Yeah.
That's like 80% of his points gone. It's like I didn't even realize Poporin's now ranked like 58. Like
that was a bad indoor season from him.
Yeah. From a guy that actually kind of likes it indoor as well.
I was curious. Does he though? It's just
the game kind of suits it though, don't you think?
Yeah, no, it does. It's aggressive, big serve.
Yeah, I think
he's had a terrible second half of 2024.
Yeah.
2025, sorry. Ever since he lost to Ferry first round of Wimbledon, it's kind of been.
Yeah. What did he do at US Open? Because I watched his match versus Rublev at Cincinnati, which is a 3-hour thriller. Could have gone either way. Oh yeah, he beat Rusevori, and then.
Oh, that's what at the US?
Yeah.
That's a horror round one, by the way. If you're thinking that's not something you want. Like you've got surely he was a qualifier, or maybe
I think he just got a
ranking.
Did he just get? Yeah, he just used the PR. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if
stay in the match.
It's like
Matthew here saying roll on the tiebreak. I'm not sure Ben's holding here.
Yeah.
This has been a nervous display from Ben.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's a good serve though, straight up the tee. Popperin obviously defending round 4 points of the US. I think beat Djokovic there last year in round 3.
Yeah, I think he got to he beat Djokovic in the 3rd round, did he?
Yeah, 4.
There was back-to-back days, wasn't it? I think one day Carlos lost to Botic, and then the next day I think Novak lost to Popperin,
which completely opened up the draw. And then,
it was crazy.
But then Sinner was obviously going to just walk the rest of the way. That is not a forehand you can miss at 15 or 4-5, by the way.
No.
21 unforced errors in the match to 8 from Zverev. It's been very clean from Sasha, to be fair. You have to give him credit.
Rybakina hit 67 unforced errors against Pegula and still won the match.
That is crazy.
That is insane.
68.
Those are like Madison Keys.
67, I think it was. It was getting gradually better in each set. It was 25 in the first set. She won the second set, even though she hit 23 unforced errors in that set.
That's
I think 19 in the last set.
That is Madison Keys-esque numbers.
Yeah.
I'm so glad Ben left that. I was kind of expecting to hit the volley and miss. has game point now.
Yeah, he thought about it, didn't he?
Does Keys come anywhere near to backing up her AO title?
No. AO title? Oh, she might make quarters or semis, but I thought you were going to say about her year. I see Keys. Oh, there's a good hold there for Ben.
That is a good hold.
Yeah.
I see Keys just maybe just dipping a little in 2026.
Yeah.
But she might get some good feelings, good vibes. You come back, you feel the same as you did the year before, and it's like, okay, actually, and she might surprise me in particular anyway and make the final or something.
Well, I mean, that slam came out of nowhere, so like, why? Who says it can't
did,
happen again? You know?
Yeah.
Especially if you now have the confidence that you've done it before, you know. That's an insane drop volley.
Oh my! I was gonna say a little pep in the step for Shelton, and yeah, that's probably one of the volleys of the year.
That's so good.
Sorry, John.
It's all right. I'm seeing it now. It's wild. It's the second unbelievable volley we've seen from him. Maybe that one was even better than the other ones.
And Sasha's not known for his volleys either. So
No.
I would even go as far as saying that, you know, Ben's probably has a better volley pedigree than Sasha does, you know. It's like, just super frustrating because, like,
yeah, and these are the type of courts you want to chip on. Like, at least practice it. I don't know.
Yeah,
at least
you feel as though, like, it's so easy to say this from here, but it feels like that is so returnable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for Shelton standards, 47% of returns made. That's a bad number.
So Zverev is winning 53% of his service points by just serving, and that's it.
Even there, Fergus, like, that's literally all Ben needs. He kind of leaned wrong on the +1, so he kind of took himself out of it. But Sasha's not known for killing a +1 and following to the net. So just chip it, play a little deeper, try and get that third ball back.
There you go. Does chip. +1 from Sasha's good enough, and I don't know what what does Ben's got to be thinking, you know, right, get to a breaker and hope Sasha plays a terrible breaker, because
I guess
I don't know, it's just been, I'm just gonna look at the serve stats again. So Brenna, out of the 8, in terms of serving stats, do you want to go through 1 to 8? Who do you think is ranked best to 8 serve stats wise?
Yeah. I mean, serve stats. Is that simply the serve, nothing to do with hold percentage or all?
Right. So number 1, for example, is GMP, isn't it, Fergus?
No, not anymore.
Oh, is it not? Okay.
No, it's a mixture of like how many first serve points you win, how many first serves you land, you know, service games won.
I would put Zverev in that.
Okay, so it's
Fritz and Zverev up there for sure.
So Yannick is actually number 1 overall.
Yeah, that's kind of what my question was asking. Like, is he a part of this? Yeah. Okay, he's 1.
So it's Yannick, then Taylor at 2.
Yep.
Zverev at 3.
Yep.
Then it's actually Felix at 4 in terms of these 8. Then
but that makes sense to me, Fergus. There was a period 3 years ago. This is before you started watching tennis. He didn't get broken for like 69 games or something crazy during the indoor season.
Felix,
yeah. He didn't get broken for like he started his indoor season in that 2022 and he got all the way to the ATP Tour Finals, and then he got broken in the Tour Finals. I think maybe in his opening match. But he went. It might have been 50, it might have been 60, it might have been 70, something like that. He just didn't get broken. Anyway, go on, carry on.
Zverev actually has the highest first serve land percentage, as in out of anyone on tour. at 72%. That's actually very impressive.
He goes big to big targets consistently.
Yeah. Fritz is what has of the best first serve percentage. But like what my entire point is that, you know, Ben is supposed to be, you know, has this, you know, this monster serve, you know, and also this monster kicker, by the way.
Yep.
That, you know, is supposed to really off opponents. And Sasha's making 73% of returns in this game, in this match alone, and we're on an indoor hardcourt. You know, these are Medvedev return numbers.
Yeah.
It just feels as though, you know, Shelton is going big, and it's been one of those days where he's missed more than he's hit.
Missing that forehand as well might be costly. I mean, you know,
every service game you can't even get a +1 in.
Zverev 2 points away.
Mm-hmm.
That's like such a big part of his game is built on this +1 as well, which is absolutely massive, by the way. Like his +1 forehand is huge. He just hasn't landed one today. Puts a little less on that. Yeah, does nicely. Zverev chips into the net for 30-all. Just want to actually talk quickly about Fritz. Hasn't had the season he had last year. Does he back up his ATP final points here?
Yeah,
what did he get to the semis last year, did he? Or what was his?
No, he got to the final.
I got to the final.
Lost to Yannick in the final.
So does he get? I don't have him in my final, as I've done a sort of prediction in terms of that.
I mean, obviously, it was obviously a big part of the year, but he's played well. Made the Tokyo final, didn't he? Oh, yeah, made the Tokyo final. Lost to Carlos.
Game point here, Ben. That's important.
Yeah. Now puts a massive serve down.
Yeah.
Oh, is he calling?
He wants a let? Sasha wants a let?
For what? Yeah, Sasha's not going to get it, and it will be a tiebreak. Now, tiebreaks are so different because you could play an entire set without dropping a point and still lose. I think most memorably, I can remember GMP won a set of tennis after winning just a single point on return the entire set against Kachanov in Paris last year. Like,
I have another fun question to pose. Maybe we do it after this set.
Don't forget,
Shelton's got to get this. There's got to get this return in play. Got to.
Yep. Second serve.
Does well with it as well. Right at the feet of Zverev. Well, Shelton gets the first mini break.
It's interesting. Taylor Fritz, you said, has got the highest, at least amongst the elite servers, he's got the highest percentage on getting first serves in, right?
No, first serve win.
Oh, first serve win. Okay. Because I'll tell you why I mention this, because I remember Zverev in like the middle of 2024 was at, I don't know, it was at 75, maybe even something like that, 80%. First serves in. I remember his match against Carlos in the Australian Open that year when he beat him in the quarters. And I think he was first serves in about 80%, and Carlos couldn't do anything about it. And he has made a huge improvement in that area. So I wasn't sure if that had dropped off in 2025.
Well, first of all, Brenner, run us through that point.
Yeah, what a beautiful volley. Beautiful volley. Good serving volley, but Ben is getting crafty at the net.
Pinned Zverev so far out wide and controlled the volley just about. John, to answer your comment, Zverev still has the highest serve in percentage, first serve in percentage on tour at 72%.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's still very, very good, but I think it's gone down a couple of percent from 2024. But...
yeah, which is just what Brenner was talking about. Like he goes big with big targets. You know?
Yeah.
That was nice and flat. Crucial point.
Yeah,
so pumped.
feeling a lot more comfortable.
Ben is fired up.
That's the thing with Ben. I feel like even last year more so, like he was unbreakable essentially for a good period there, and so it was just about his tolerance.
He's pretty down in that rally as well, but he does a really good forehand that buys him a lot of time. That loopy forehand, Rafa Nadal-esque, if you like, Jack Draper as well to some extent. And that was a really good depth on it as well, and it just bought him enough time to get back to neutral in the rally.
What I will say, well, he's made that return as well. Wasn't clean, but on top in the point. Oh,
weird, but miss it. But
yeah, it doesn't matter. He won't care. Was it? Did this clip the net on the volley?
No, I think he just hit like the frame.
Well, it might have hit the net.
Frame.
It might hit the net. Did it hit the net?
No, it's just all frame.
Okay.
Well, if you're going to buy the racket, you got to use all of it, right?
He apologized then for the mishit, then I guess. The forehand slice is nice. It's really low bouncing.
Forehand slice is nice. I agree. I think the forehand slice is probably one of the most underused shot in tennis. You don't see it very often.
Tatiana Maria, but yeah.
Yeah, Tatiana Maria is probably the biggest example. Probably Mute is also
probably
maybe
on the
men's side biggest example.
Isn't there another guy I'm just trying to think of? But yeah, Mute
probably.
Isn't there another Frenchman? Can't think of his name right now who does it as well.
Lestien, maybe.
Lestien, yeah, I think Lestien does it. Yeah.
Yes, he did it a lot.
Yeah.
Pulled that out my back pocket.
Yeah.
Very good, yeah.
To be fair, I do miss watching him play a little bit. Maybe
is like that's where I feel like Ben is just he's just really pumped. Like Ben is just a bit like too pumped.
Yep.
He delays right ball to come second that entrance to the net as well. He hits the forehand and he thinks about it for half a second before then finally going to the net, and that hesitancy may have cost him the point.
Also feel like he rushed in and he didn't like take a second to like pick where he was going to hit the volley. He just was running in, and all the momentum he had whilst he was running in was then hit onto the volley, and it just was always going to sail long.
Still has one mini break advantage, but one has gone. But he holds here for 5-2, and
that is right on the line. Well, we did say, he's got to hope that Sasha plays a bad breaker. And I think, I don't think Sasha's played that bad of a breaker, to be honest. I think that Ben's just, really up his level.
Ben's hitting his marks, yeah.
Yep. It's about time, hour and 20 minutes, and he's just about.
But that's the thing. It doesn't take much. As long as you can hold, which you should do casually.
So Zverev's only hit 2 volley winners in the whole match, and they were those 2 just incredible volleys.
Carlos is the best volleyer on tour. You would
Probably,
think, right?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe you think about other players. Think about just Courtcraft, Bublik, and maybe Mute again, I guess.
I was gonna say, yeah, you could throw in that conversation.
Wouldn't quite put Lestien in there as well.
He's a prickly character as well, Lestien. Not quite to the extent of Mute, but
Oh, he is prickly. That's a good point.
Yeah. We did a couple of interviews with Lestien in 23 when he played Surbiton.
Okay, yeah.
It's about to say, surely you've got plenty of experience. I'm sure you've interviewed Lestien.
Me? No, I don't think I have. Don't think so. Not off the top of my... I think I'd remember it as well.
It's the kind of guy you think, that
was so predictable.
It's like, that's just Zverev all over. Like you could so see what he's about to do.
you have to go back behind here. This is
Yeah. I mean, it is good from Ben though. Still, I mean, look at that celebration. But
Ben is pumped. 3 set points for Ben Shelton. I said at the start, Brandon, I said this is the must-win match for Ben if he wants to make the semis. Yeah.
He's making the returns in this tiebreak, isn't he? I mean, even that one there, I mean, he's made it. So,
right.
I mean, they're not good. They're not like
right, but that's just using your athleticism, use the chip, keep it in the court, give yourself another life.
Does he second? Obviously,
I would say this is the must win because Felix is just a terrible matchup for Ben. It feels like.
Is he 7 volley second serve here?
Thought he might, but he gets a clip on the net. That's another one.
He does as well. He gets buffed.
He's got one more chance, fortunately.
Second serve volley does seem to be a tactic more than the first serve.
I actually haven't. I rarely have seen that. I think the Draper did it a couple times in his US Open semi-final run, as in he would just come in on random points and get away with it. But I think that was just kind of the week he was having. You can't miss that. That's a Fonseca.
Well, it's just like poor weight transfer. Like, look at the body shape. He essentially just stops moving and only uses.
He's not low enough either. He's not using.
Why serve to the Zverev? I understand it, but why serve to the Zverev backhand?
Has to get the return in.
I feel like we've seen more tiebreak, we'll call it cells, than we had like in recent times. I don't know. I'm just thinking, obviously, yesterday was poor.
Didn't need to bring that up.
Yeah. But I feel like we've been seeing it a lot more recently.
Yeah. That was pretty brutal.
Serve. Let's see if Ben is conservative here. I hope he attacks.
I feel like he's going to go big.
Yeah.
Not really. Kind of goes middle, but
there it was.
3 set points come and go for Ben, and it's 6-all.
3 set points, 2 of which, of course, on his serve as well.
On his serve. The guy serves 145, and that's
Zverev as well had on that next shot. So I think it's after the return. Almost felt as though he'd not given up, but he was just like very passive and a bit strange, and gets away with it because Ben dumps the phone in the net.
I think it was with you, Brendan. We were talking about Zverev is the only guy on tour that in big moments in like a top 10 player that plays the most passive on big points.
Yep. I mean, that second serve, short, middle of the box. God, he's been hitting that slider really well as of late.
7-6, Zverev.
So match point.
Indeed.
4 in a row.
Now, what does Ben do here? This is the big question. Does he serve and volley? Does he go wide?
I think he will.
Body serve and volley. That's what he should do.
I don't mind that.
And stay back on the second, I think.
That is a great return from Sasha. Longest rally of the match.
Yeah, it's the best rally from Ben. The whole match.
Oh, and he misses on the backhand. Big reaction from Sasha. Oh my god. Best rally in the match, save for the last point. Ben throws away, and I'm going to use that in a non-light term. Throws away 3 set points. And Zverev comes through, starts nicely in Turin. Played big celebration. I haven't seen that much passion out of Sasha in quite a while, to be honest. He is. I mean, when you get that much on the other side of the court from Ben, That can't be a.
That rally was not typical of the match because actually it was a situation where it was a good return from Zverev, but then Ben's in the rally. He's staying quite patient. He's not pulling triggers. He's not net rushing. Things are going okay. Somehow he contrives to put that backhand. I mean, it was fairly normal, sort of fairly neutral that it does that. It only lands just out, but yeah, that was the most patient he'd been all match, and he still lost the point. So. He's probably thinking, I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. Right now he's finding it difficult to know which direction to walk off the court.
Yeah,
which is indicative of his anxious performance in so many ways. He did come out the blocks firing and said earlier he gets to love 15 on one of the early Sasha Zverev service games. Gets a bit unlucky with a passing shot that clips the net. Gets to love 30 there. Who knows? But he ends up getting broken twice. And he just seems so, anxious throughout that entire first set. However, he then gets to the tiebreak in the second, and you're thinking, okay, we're going 3 because he's up 6-3 and he's got 3 set points, the first 2 of which were on his serve. But somehow contrives to lose that set and the match. I thought Ben might lose all 3 group matches, and of course he's now in a real sticky... And losing this in straights as well. You're losing 3 and you think, okay, maybe you beat Felix in straights and whatever, but you lose this one in straights. Yeah. And you've got Yannick Sinner and Felix Auger seem to come.
I did say this was the match that Shelton needed to win if he wanted any sort of chance. The Felix matchup is horrible, and now it feels as though unless Shelton can produce something pretty big, it feels as though the crunch match is Zverev Felix, which I kind of favor Felix in that for me. I've
got Felix emerging from the group. Yeah, in fact, I've actually got Felix in the final.
Does Ben need to go that big on any of those 3 set points?
Yeah, it's just like bad +1s, to be honest. I think he had it. He had it won mentally when he stepped up to serve it.
Yeah, that huge celebration for that pass at 6-3 almost felt like he never came down from that moment, and then it just dissipated from there.
Yeah. But yeah, Zverev will have a great chance now. I mean, straight sets win. Yes, it probably will come down to the Felix match. If you win that one, then you're probably going through, and if you don't, then you're probably going out. The margins of losses, as I say, against Sinner might come into play as well. If Felix gets a 3-set loss tomorrow, for example, that might stand. And I don't want to be too negative, but I can't see Yannick not qualifying, and I probably can't see him not qualifying as group winner. It's very difficult to imagine Yannick not being in the final, actually, one way or another. But that's still to come. Brenner, some thoughts on Zverev today as well?
Yeah, I mean, looked fairly dull, to be honest. Nothing super, nothing that stood out to me in particular. Obviously, we know his ability on serve, and that's kind of what you got to do, especially when you're playing a good server. There wasn't any threat from Shelton on return, so I wouldn't say there was anything that stuck out to me. Obviously, clean performance, but probably should be in a 3rd set, and who knows what happens once Shelton starts to feel a bit more comfortable. So I just think you could tell with that emotion he let out that there's definitely some angst. And obviously it's difficult, right? The first match here is always, for all these players, is a little difficult. So I wouldn't say anything stuck out to me.
Some breaking news, and I love to break big stories on this channel, as you know, and I'm sure many of you tune in because you know we're going to break these stories first. Casper Ruud has had a haircut, and it's very curious, I would suggest. Haircuts and tennis seems to be a bit of a thing at the moment, with Alcaraz kind of starting the trend by his brother somehow mismanaging his hair, and then he went a skinhead, and now he's gone for the blonde top. Then we had Fonseca talking about it in his speech. Zverev has also mentioned it. I think if he wins the Australian Open, he's vowed to cut his hair. And now Casper Ruud is getting in on the act. I don't know if we've got any thoughts on this, Fergus.
For me, he actually kind of looks like a rugby player in the nicest way possible. I don't know whether it ages him or de-ages him.
It's a look.
It is something. I don't think it's not quite Carlos, because Carlos, can pretty much do anything, and it will fine.
Yeah.
Ruud kind of. Well, will he still wear the sweatband now? That's like
it's definitely weird looking on Ruud.
I mean, he's got a couple of months to grow it back before Australia anyway, so maybe he's chosen this time of year.
If he grows it back, does he just buzz it again, just before the AO?
He actually was one to have bleached hair back in the junior days. I saw a
picture.
Did,
yeah, but basically since making it, he hasn't had bleached hair. So anyway, there we go, breaking a bit of a story.
If you're gonna shave your head, because you've got to have it's got to be like a big moment. I thought he would have shaved his head maybe after Madrid or something like that.
Yeah, but is he? This looks like it's maybe, I don't know if he's missed a bit or he's gone a bit too hard. Maybe if we see the other side of his head, he's got actually even more of a style going on in terms of it's pretty short, but super short on both sides. But anyway, go on, Fergus.
Whilst we're on Ruud, I wanted to ask: are we throwing Ruud in the same category as Medvedev and Rublev and Tsitsipas of not winning another Masters and not making another Slam final?
I don't know about not winning another Masters, because he's always got Monte Carlo, Madrid, and Rome to consider. But yeah, I thought you were going to say basically in terms of maybe peaking, let's say,
or at least level.
3 slams. Top 5, yeah, he was top 5. In fact, he had a shot at world number 1 in the final against
second. If Yannick had beaten Carlos at the US, he would have been world number 1.
Exactly. So yeah, I am thinking that him and that other batch of players have peaked. I wouldn't say none of them will win another 1,000. I think Medvedev could easily win a hardcourt 1,000 before he's done.
How long do you think Medvedev have left?
As a player, I have no idea. It could be anything between 1 and 4 years. But my point that I made to you a few weeks ago was that, yeah, he's peaked. He's not winning another slam. He might pick up a few titles here and there because, there's plenty of hardcourt titles out there. I just don't see him returning, for example, to the top 10. I don't think even that is going to happen because, yeah, it just feels like there's a slump. But he has had a nice little uptick the last few weeks. So that suggests something. But I think when you said 4 years, I thought that was a bit strong. I think that was my reaction, wasn't it, Fergus?
You seem to think I was losing my mind when I said
Yeah, I think I did think that, yeah. Well, 4 years does seem a lot, but
220 points separates Medvedev and the top 10.
Oh, okay.
With nothing, I said in nothing, pretty much.
He went out early in Australia, didn't he? I know.
Second round of Australia. Then lost early in Doha and Dubai. Lost semi-finals of Indian Wells. Just hit a few pieces here and there.
He might well get back to the top 10 at some point in the next few weeks.
Absolutely nothing to defend in terms of slams.
True. All right, guys. I do think we're done because in just over an hour, we're going to have Gil Gross on WTA Weekly. That's going to be with Nick, of course, as always. That's to look forward to. But I just want to say a big thanks to you, Brenner.
Thanks for having me.
And, of course, to you as well, Fergus.
Thank you very much. Pleasure as always.
And to everybody else, you know the drill. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.